Getting kills in Dota feels good, but most of the time they are completely overrated. Today, I will show you what kills actually give you in each stage of the game, which kills really matter and which ones can literally lose you the game. Because in Dota, kills are not objectives, they are tools. First of all, let's talk about what each kills means for you. Your team gets gold and experience, but what matters more is that enemy is dead for a period of time, depending on the level he's at. Early on, you die for only few seconds, and as the game goes, it becomes longer and more painful in terms of map presence. All of this leads us to the main point. Getting kills is less about getting golden experience, but more about the fact enemies are in fact unable to play Dota for a period of time, in which you can basically do everything you want on the map, and they are unable to respond. Kills are not goals. Kills are tools that allow you to take something else. If a kill doesn't give you anything after it, it was probably a bad kill. In the early game, killing an enemy is not always the desired outcome. While you'll never feel sad about getting a kill on enemy, there are situations where killing enemy is suboptimal. In the early game, a lot of the heroes struggle with one thing: resources. Tangos and Mangos cost gold, and there are times in the lane where you cannot impact it at all if you have no HP or no mana. In that kind of situation, it's not bad to die, and usually it is a desired outcome, especially if you're a support. How many times you find yourself with half HP and no mana, having no idea what to do? That is why trading kills on the lane is sometimes what you actually desire. If you can trade yourself for a core, that means he's going to miss out on XP and you will come back to the lane with full resources. But this also applies to a core. While you obviously hate to die even more than supports, there are some situations that dying is better than staying alive. Imagine this scenario: you're half HP, wave is static under enemy tower, and you cannot contest it, as you have no spells, no mana, or no support. Dying just for the sake of it isn't good. This is still giving enemy XP and gold. However, if you can manage to mess up the lane to a point, your death will fix it in terms of creep moving towards you, and you will respawn with them under your tower. It can be a good move. Kills are important. Each kill gives you a small amount of gold and experience. However, as we talked about at the start, it also removes enemy from the lane for a period of time, where you are free to do whatever. That means you can deny every off-risk creep, fix the lane for yourself, or even rotate towards another lane, creating a scenario where you have more heroes on other lane. Main point of this video is to view kills differently, as they are usually not the objective, but a tool you can use. While sometimes they can be objective itself, like killing enemy twice, making him unable to TP, or killing enemy carry who's trying to get the timing, or even forcing a buyback on late game core. Usually they should transfer into something. Mid game, where kills actually start to matter. Mid game, so post laning stage, is the point where killing becomes an important map control tool. At this point of the game, you should be able to pressure the map. Tier 1 towers are usually the first goal. As I said before, kills are tools to help you, not the objective itself. What does it mean? If your objective is to get a certain tower, a kill will be good if you get it in a way that it allows you to pressure that tower. If that means you'll be able to just destroy it, or at least let creeps pressure it, it all depends on the game and the heroes you have. In the mid game, a good question for each kill is: what do we get after this? This will let you frame your mind to use your kills as a way to get objectives, and that will improve your macro gameplay. For that period of the game, there are 3 types of kills that are actually good. First is objective kills. This is explained above. The second would be map control kills. Let's say you kill enemy mid laner and that will allow you to grab a rune. Or perhaps you got a kill in the enemy jungle and that will allow you and your team to play there, getting enemy camps or maybe stacks. This kind of kill is very good as well, and it's usually the second best you can get. That means if you're unable to get an objective because it's not there or you simply don't have heroes to do so, getting map control is your best bet. For the most cases, a lot of times between you getting tier 1 towers and your team being able to get Rosh or Tormentor, this is that kind of a kill you want to get. Just because you're unable to pressure tier 2 towers, that doesn't mean you should retreat back to your jungle and farm there. This is usually a bad outcome. Map control kills are the best tool you can learn if you struggle in the mid game, and that way to elevate your gameplay to a higher level. A third type of a good kill, although it's third on the list, is a timing kill. This is usually very good against enemy carry or another core that is close to their timing that changes their game. Because you rarely get map control out of that kill, that has to mean going there and using resources has to be important to your team. That is why most of the time it applies to carries. If you smoke 2 or 3 heroes to kill enemy support in the jungle farming back camps, this is not good. If you do kill enemy Ursa before has Battle Fury though, it is usually worth it, even if it doesn't transform into anything. I said it before, relying enemy timings is a great way to mess up their game, as long as you don't spend too many resources on doing that. Now, let's talk about bad kills. A great way to say it would be every kill that does not apply to the 3 good ones can be a bad kill, depending on the resources you use. If enemies just run into you, randomly giving you kills while not forcing your ultimate, that's great. And while it can lead to absolutely nothing, you will still enjoy getting free gold or experience. However, if it takes a lot of resources for you to kill that guy, perhaps you're better off farming. I have a great example of a game where bad kills completely ruined our chance to win the game, and I wanted to make a video on this. However, it does fit into the current video perfectly, so let me explain. My mid laner picks a last pick Shaker into PL draft. Our team struggles a lot into that hero, but we have that one tool to stop PL from snowballing the game and winning it on his own. In the late, it will be very hard for us to actually kill him. That is why we spend a lot of resources on helping that Shaker, stacking for him, securing every rune, basically enabling him to pressure enemy PL. He proceeds to get an early blink while having a decent game, but then he never uses his echo on enemy PL. When we were using smoke, I would love to go for PL on the top lane, because at this point, stopping enemy carry that can solo the game past 30 minutes is an objective itself. But Shaker just wants some blood, and then he goes for Weaver support. This is not a good kill. Using your ultimate as a mid laner to get enemy support is usually something you should avoid, unless it happens in a way that will allow you to get an objective. Another example of a bad mid game kill is when you use too many resources for something that is simply not worth it. If you kill enemy carry, but you use Ravage, Golem and other big cooldown ultimates, you need to be aware that in 30 seconds he's going to respawn and you will have no ultimates. Against good players, this can bite you back, so be mindful of cost that it takes. Long cooldown ultimates are something that you should play around both ways. If enemies use them, even if you died, make sure you go on them before cooldown is back up. Otherwise, you likely wasted a big chance for a comeback. Sometimes a kill is free, and sometimes it can cost you the next fight. Going into the late game, this is the point where each kill can completely change course of the game. Two main questions you want to ask yourself in the late game are: where do we want to get kills, and what can we get out of them? At this point, there is a high chance that a team wipe or even one important kill can result in game being completely lost. Even if you have a buyback, using it will cost you a lot of gold and play in a certain way that allows enemies to predict your moves easier, and that will mean they get the map control. At this stage of the game, it's really important that you get your kills in a way that allows you to pressure high ground or get Roshan, or at least force a buyback. Killing a support in an area where you don't want to play can be game losing. if that means enemies get to kill a rush during this time, or perhaps trade that kill. At this point, a general rule of thumb is fighting near enemy objective is better, unless you need to abuse high ground defense. Just keep in mind that if you're defending high ground, good players won't just randomly siege it, they will put all of your heroes in your base, then start farming whole map. And as I said at the start, at some point, lack of presence is way more important than the death itself. So please, in the late game, keep your buyback. Unless a very specific scenario happens and you need to get a BKB or Hex, in 95% of the cases, you prefer on having buyback than a single item. Just having that threat and ability to get yourself back on the map can mean more than you buying a Shiva or Daedalus. After we've talked about kills, let's now give you a quick idea how to think about them during the game, so it allows you to improve your gameplay. First of all, think about what each kill gives you and then what it denies from enemy. If you're a support that has no resources, perhaps trying to trade yourself or even dying while you make enemies chase you is good. Ask yourself, 1. Is it worth for enemy? 2. Do I want to reset myself or enemies? Killing them allows them to come back to the lane with full resources, so keep that in mind. 3. What objective can we get from that kill? 4. If we cannot get objectives, can we control the area then? Have a plan that you can implement after every kill. Secondly, keep in mind that certain fights and kills are better than the others. In the mid and late game, a lot of good fights will take place near enemy base. If you take a fight there, that means you're either close to objective you want to take, or enemies are far away from yours. This will naturally lead your team having more time and enemies having less. Same outcome of the fight can lead to it being good or bad, depending where you took it. And third point, cooldowns are important too. A cooldown on big ultimate or even a buyback are something you need at least briefly keep track of, as it can change your entire game. If you lost a fight, but enemies don't have BKBs or big spells, go and smoke into them. If your team, however, used a lot of cooldowns, make sure after enemies are respawning, you respect their ability to fight you back, and just chill, at least until your spells are back up. This is the time to be efficient. As we got this covered, it's time to address something that I know is your problem when you're playing support. I know that sometimes, after you get kills, your team, instead of pushing a tower or getting crushed, will just go back to the jungle and farm. While I know it happens, you can still use the kills you've got as a tool, just in a different way. Map control is important. If your team got kills, and even if they go back to farming, the chances are that with bonus gold you will win another fight. What you can do in this type of situations is get vision up, then when enemies are back up, smoke and kill them again. Use the map control you've gained from kills to make sure you will be able to get more. Eventually, your allies will stumble upon enemy base, destroying it in the process. Even if you think this is not optimal, believe me, I've been there. It's better to play efficiently in suboptimal way than die while trying to do what's optimal, and getting angry in the process that your allies left you. And keep in mind that I also offer private coaching if you'd like to improve your Dota gameplay. Thanks for watching, let me know in the comments if you agree with the video, and as always, see you